Hi and welcome to WoW Flash. This is my weekly series where I just look at the news from anything to do with Warcraft from the past 7 days. So this week it really will be a WoW Flash because very little to talk about here, but lots to talk about this weekend. It's Blizzcon weekend, which means a couple of things. First of all, there's going to be lots and lots and lots to talk about based on what they say. From my point of view, it's going to be starting in about 50 minutes, the opening ceremony. Of course, they've already got some rubbish on at the moment with like PvP stuff. So I'll be watching that. I'll be watching the opening ceremony. I expect most of the good stuff to come out tomorrow. But I will be vlogging on a number of things this weekend related to that. So on to what we can talk about. First of all, if you have a virtual ticket, or I suppose a proper ticket, you can now get the BlizzCon pet. You might not actually realise this. We don't get a post or anything like that. It's just automatically in the pet tab, except with a little difference. It's in a little package which you have to open. Now, I do that sooner rather than later because if I observe this particular box, it doesn't look like it's got any air holes in it. So if you leave it too long, you might find that Murky's suffocated. So break him out. In fact, there's two. There's an Alliance and a Horde one because they're sort of themed this year, I suppose. I've noted before there's going to be a lot of anniversary related stuff. For a start, it seems to be the 10th BlizzCon, which I didn't realise. I think this year it was the 25th anniversary of Blizzard. That was earlier in the year, but this is still the anniversary year. And I think it's something like 20th anniversary year for Diablo. So there seems to be, looking at the schedule, a bit of an anniversary theme there. So there'll be some retrospective stuff in there, I'm sure. I talked in a video vlog earlier this week about my own journey with the Warcraft games. I'm sure they're going to be doing lots of that as well. In terms of what there is news, because you wouldn't expect very much actual news to happen this week, because of course there'll be bug fixes and things like that, and there have been some bug fixes, especially around Karazhan. So if any of the sort of Karazhan quests weren't working for you, seems that it is now working, hopefully. But obviously a lot of the staff, if they're not actively involved in doing something like that, they're not going to be making announcements on anything, because why would you? Because the big platform to make any announcement around about this time of year is at BlizzCon. So anything that they might have announced this week in the normal course of events, you would think they're going to be saving for this. There was one announcement of note I feel I should put here. It's related to hidden artifact skins. Now, as I say, it's not a big concern for me. I'm not particularly interested in those. But some people are. There was a piece of news circulating around that there'd been a hot fix to the Arms Warrior hidden artifact, which Blizzard have clarified is not the case. It was always working before. It was the one where there was a random chance for something to appear in the Warrior Order Hall. It's just that they said that they described the chance as being conservative, which is their language for it were a bit bloody low. So what they did when patch 7.1 rolled around, they increased the chance, and this has caused it to spawn now. So people assumed that because it hadn't spawned for like 2 months and suddenly has now, that it must not have been working and it's been hotfixed. It's not the case. It was simply just a ridiculously low chance to happen. And they said when it does happen, it happens for the whole region as well. And there was another. They've said, because people are asking about a Death Knight hidden artifact, they've sort of said that they try not to give too much away, but as everyone else's seems to have been found, and it's just like this lone Death Knight skin that hasn't. What they've said is given a little hint. They said it's tied to a world boss. Now, what I'm going to say next is not gospel. I don't know this for certain, but I've seen a little bit of hubbub on Twitter. I'm getting the strong impression, and it's an impression, I don't know this to be the case, that it's sort of tied to the world boss that's up now. And that there was an issue with it when this reset began, at least in North America, where it was bugged and hotfixed. And, you know, there's this issue of, well, what about the people who killed the world boss at the start? You know, will re-killing it help them get it or something like that? Now, I don't know this to be the case, and Blizzard haven't said anything about that. But because they've said the issue with the Death Knight one was not a hotfix, it was always working, it was just a too low chance, it may well be that this, again, is a suspicion of a bug and not an actual bug as well. It may be that there's nothing wrong with it and that it's tied to a world boss either that hasn't spawned yet, because they haven't all spawned yet, or that it's just a low chance and you have to keep waiting for it to cycle round, which seems a little bit unfair. But as I say, I don't really pay too close attention to the artifact skins issues, because the only artifact skin that I want for my Retribution Paladin will suddenly appear as soon as I complete all the traits. So it's just a time-based one for me. So that's pretty much all there is of note to talk about this week, because, as I say, we're saving ourselves up. I'm waiting for my Chinese to arrive, and in 45 minutes, the opening ceremony starts, and I want to be on there. If any of you are actually at BlizzCon, you're probably not watching this. You've got better things to do. But if you are, have a really good time. And, of course, if anything crops up that wouldn't have been on the main stages, in other words, I wouldn't have been able to see it on the virtual ticket, do report back, especially with photos. That would be really cool. But yeah, until later, until I start vlogging about this, which is, from my point of view, UK time is probably going to start being Saturday afternoon. I don't know how many there will be. Last year, I just did 2 main vlogs, one for each day. This year, I'm likely to do what I've been doing with these convention Q&As, which is to package them up into topic areas, because it might well be someone sees a video an hour long and it's on like 3 different topics, and they might think, well, I'm interested in that one, but not the other 2. I'm not going to bother. So I'm going to package it around themes. We'll see how many that ends up being. I don't know, because I don't know what Blizzard are going to say, other than talking about what's still to come in Legion, presumably after Nighthold, because we've had a reasonable amount of information up to that. I'm sure they're going to elaborate more on what's going to happen between now and Nighthold opening, because there are a few little details they haven't mentioned yet. And so I certainly think there'll be some of that. But what we're really interested in is after Nighthold. But yes. So have a great time, or if you're watching it on the virtual ticket, or if you're just going to wait for me to vlog about it. And until next time, I'll see you later.